everyone. So we've all been anxiously waiting around to find out what's going to happen with Jared Vanderbilt. A couple weeks ago, when the injury first happened, Darvin Ham said that he should be ready to go for the actual NBA season, that they were just keeping him out precautionary. But now it looks like he is day-to-day and unlikely for the opening night game against the Denver Nuggets. So Taurean Prince was announced as the starter. Totally okay with that. I think Taurean Prince in that starting role is fine. I still like the continuity with Jared Vanderbilt, and all intents and purposes, it looks like Jared Vanderbilt will be the starter once he returns from injury. But there is always the chance that, what if Taurean Prince is great in that Denver game, and then, the Suns game, and then, what if Vando misses, 2-3 games, and Prince is just absolutely killing it? Do you really want to break that up, or do you want to just say, okay, let's keep that intact, and then we'll bring Vando off the bench? Something to keep in mind. Now, I'm somebody that has preached all offseason that I do believe that they should keep Jared Vanderbilt in the starting unit. I just think, one, keep that continuity, keep the team and the chemistry of the starting unit that led you to the conference finals, right? Bring that back, keep that intact, and allow them to try to replicate that, and this time even take you further with all the depth and the talent. But regardless, whether Prince starts, whether Vando starts, Vando's going to be a huge part of this Lakers team. He is our best defensive player, not named Anthony Davis. He is our best perimeter and on-ball defender. And he may be the best in the entire league. His numbers are ridiculous. And all offseason, the question is, what will his offense look like? All offseason, he's been working on that heavily. If we're going off of last season, Jared Vanderbilt by far is our worst offensive player. But if he can just, and I don't need him to be lights out. What Taurean Prince provides you is good defense and elite three-point shooting. Give you 38 to 40%. I don't even need that from Vando. If he can be 35 to 36%, league average is around 35%. So if he could be 35 to 36%, that's perfect. Because now you get elite defense and you get quality three-point shooting. And I think that is just, how do you keep the guy off the court at that point, right? How do you justify not starting him if he is to that level, especially shooting the three ball? Now, we only have a one-game sample size of Vando in which he shot 66%, but it was on 3 attempts. He was 2 of 3. But he also missed the first one, so that's a good sign. But what we do have, and what you did see in that one game, is the confidence in that shot, right? He wasn't reluctant. He wasn't, a little conscious, man. No, he was just catch, shoot, right? He looked like a guy that has been working on it all off season. A guy that is comfortable in that role now. And that's what we need. Taurean Prince provides that. And again, if Jared Vanderbilt isn't shooting, if he's still 30 to 33%, I think you got to go with Taurean Prince just for that threat. Now, depending on the matchups or something like that, you could always alternate. And I do think that Darvin Ham is going to do that. I genuinely do. I do believe that Darvin Ham will, we're playing Minnesota, so let's go with Jackson Hayes to match the size. Or maybe you start Rui, because Rui had a lot of success defensively against Karl Anthony Towns. Maybe you go with something like that. If we're playing the Warriors, maybe we start Vando and Prince, right? It's just, there's options there, right? There's flexibility there. And regardless, I love however the units go. No matter what happens, I love however the units decide to go, right? Because let's say you do start Vando, right? Well, then now you have a starting five, or a backup five of Gabe Vincent, Taurean Prince, Rui Hachimura, Christian Wood, and Jackson Hayes. I mean, that bench five could compete and beat most starting fives in the league. I mean, it's just, this Lakers roster is ridiculous. But next up, right, we'll see what happens with Vando. I'm sure we'll get another update shortly, but don't expect him in the Denver game. Next up is Gabe Vincent. So Gabe Vincent, same thing. He has been out last couple games with some back tightness, and we got an update. So Gabe Vincent who has been dealing with back tightness, is expected to be good to go for the Lakers season opener against the Nuggets. So this is according to Mike Trudell. Gabe Vincent said he could have played in the preseason finale if it were the regular season game. The team was just being smart about it and wanted to make sure he was 100%. The back is feeling great, he added. So, look, the last game we saw him in, he dropped 18 and was shooting the lights out and just looked fantastic. If that translates into the regular season, good luck, right? But he's going to be very valuable. He's going to be very important, and we need him healthy, right? Obviously, he is the backup point guard right behind D'Lo. But, I mean, there are certain games, certain matchups where you may start him, right? Again, you play in the Warriors with, like, Chris Paul, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson as, you know, the three. Maybe you do go with, like, a Gabe Vincent, right? Like, it's just, there's options of flexibility. And look, Gabe Vincent's going to be very important. Now, to me, he is clearly the Dennis Schroeder replacement. But to me, he is more consistent than Schroeder is, but Schroeder's upside was greater. Neither of them are great playmakers. Like, Gabe Vincent's not a guy that's going to go out there and be wheeling and dealing like we've seen with, like, Reeves, LeBron, D'Lo, right? But he is a guy that can initiate the offense. He's a guy that can kind of orchestrate the offense. But he's not a guy, like, if you just want to put the ball in his hand and have him go play make for others, it's not really his thing. Even Miami, right? He'd kind of bring the ball up, initiate the offense, but then a lot of times he was just kind of playing off the ball as a catch-and-shoot-three guy, which is great because you have Austin Reeves, you have D'Angelo Russell, you have LeBron James, and his ability to be a legit 3-and-D type point guard. These are the type of guards that have a lot of success next to LeBron James. You know, think of Norris Cole, Mario Chalmers, Avery Bradley, right? George Hill. All those guys had great success alongside LeBron James because LeBron is going to have the ball in his hands most of the time. LeBron is the one that's going to be making the decisions most of the time. When he's out of the game, it's probably D'Lo or it's probably Reeves. And the beauty is you can play Gabe Vincent alongside those guys. We saw what he looked like alongside D'Lo, and it was pretty good, right? Because his ability to play off the ball, his ability to be a point of attack defender, and just be what Dennis Schroeder was in that regard. But when it came to Schroeder, Schroeder isn't the playmaker, and he's not the shooter that Gabe Vincent. Like, Gabe Vincent is the better shooter, but Dennis Schroeder is up. Like, when he was on, I mean, he was easy 20. Easy. Right? Sometimes more. He'd go get you 30. Gabe Vincent, he'll have his games here and there, right, where he just catches fire. Like we saw the other day, he scored 18. You'll have games like that periodically throughout the regular season, but more so than not, he's just going to be that, like, 7 to 9 point per game guy. But that's fine, right? Like, him chipping in 7, Prince chipping in, 8 to 9, right? Like, all of the other guys, as Shaq likes to call it, like, that's their role. Just go out there, chip in, 8 to 10 points from each of them. Then you have Rui and Reeves and D'Lo and LeBron and AD and Wood and all those guys. They're all those are the offensive workloads. Like, those are the guys that are going to be doing that. Like, Gabe Vincent, we need to hit the occasional three, keep the offense fluid, and defend the guy in front of him at as best of a level as he could possibly do. Right? Like, that's what we need. And so I'm pumped, right? I imagine he plays a big role in the Denver game. Right? Him throwing him on Jamal Murray. He just saw him the other day. It feels like the other day in the NBA Finals. So it'll be fun. It's going to be a lot of excitement. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. Also, if you made it this far, subscribe. YouTube has like this new light. I don't know if you see it. Every time I say subscribe, the light's supposed to light up. So hit that subscribe button. I greatly appreciate it. And let me know your thoughts and opinions. What do you think? How do you feel? Are you a little concerned about Vando? Are you excited Vincent's back? Do you think, no? Again, it's just precaution. Like, if this was the playoffs, Vando would probably be playing. But because it's the first regular season game of the season, it'll be okay. But again, love to your thoughts and opinions, however you feel. Let me know down in the comment section below.